Well, welcome to Martini Time. Well, I've got a frog in my throat just as soon as I talk. Wait a minute. Let me see if the gin will clear it out. Okay. Been a beautiful day here in Blackstone. And I'm still connecting the dots with Wonder Woman and culture and Trump and popcorn. This morning, my talk was on Trump as the pop president, the president of popular culture, and also the president of pop, which, and I love this, culture is kind of like a big kettle full of popcorn kernels. And Trump will throw a kernel in and it pops. And then all the other kernels go pop, 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 pop. And then it dies down, and then he throws another kernel in on some other issue. Go pop, 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 and then it dies down. So he threw a kernel in and popped all the popcorn that's been going off today about the NFL. Of course, the kettle is black that they popped the popcorn in. And so anyway, he really enjoys, I believe, just making popcorn pop and then eating it. So he's sitting back there eating the popcorn he created. It's all great. So anyway, connecting the dots with Wonder Woman, Trump as the president of pop culture, the president of culture, pop culture. He spent his whole life in pop culture. Or getting on the media, having risque interviews, being questioned about his lifestyle, and also defending himself and suing people. It's all on pop culture. Pop culture is, it says popular culture, but what I'm talking about is not just popular culture, which we think of as in terms of the magazines you see at the grocery store, Esquire and all that, or now what you see on TV. It's the whole culture is popular culture. But then the popping culture is the one that we kind of like see every day. Like, oh, what's new today? Pop. What pop is new today? So there's got to be a new pop every day. Just like when you go on the internet, you go, what's new? What's new today? If nothing's new, you don't go there. So if you have a website or a blog, you better have something new. What's new? Facebook is kind of like that because there's new stuff. What's new? And we want stuff that catches up, that pops. You want some pop there. If it doesn't pop, it's not interesting. It's neutral. Don't even see it. Got to pop. So pop culture. And so then also been connecting dots with Wonder Woman. And today I connected Wonder Woman with Avatar. And if you notice in Avatar, there was imbalance between the two halves of culture. The sky people was mind-brain culture, and the Na'vi was heart-brain culture. Heart, mind. Unity, division. Thinking, ego. Self-centered. Heart, empathy, compassion. The mother, the father. And so when there was a war between the two, between the mind and the body, the mind and the heart, the mother came in to restore balance. Remember that when the mother, Jake Sully had prayed to them. He asked the mother, and his bride said, I forgot her name, said, well, she just restores balance. She doesn't take sides. She restores balance. Wonder Woman basically is that same theme of the feminine principle coming in to restore balance. Restore balance to a culture, a sky people, that's gotten disconnected from the heart, from the earth. The sky people had destroyed the earth. So they had to go to other planets to get the fuel, the unobtainium, to run their economy. You see, they had destroyed their own nest. Like a cancer, they had killed their own body. So culture, when it's male and is disconnected from the female, from the body, becomes a cancer. It destroys itself through its own division. It's war. And that's what Wonder Woman was about, metaphorically or mythologically. I think it's hard for me to say what, but the deeper meaning, let's put it that way, is that culture, as in the movie, is represented by First World War, which was the Western civilization self-destructing by eating its own tail, like a snake eating its tail. You divide the culture in half, and then the cultures go to war to destroy each other. And that's what's happening in America. And Trump is the King Midas. You remember King Midas? Whatever he touched turned to gold. He thought that was great till he touched his daughter. And he couldn't eat. You see? Uh-oh. So Trump touches everything to gold, but what he really does is divide everything. So for Trump, his touch is division. So whatever he touches splits into two and eats itself. Whatever he touches splits into two and of the dragon and eats its own tail. And the mother comes in to restore balance. The mother comes in and say, listen, kids, stop fighting. Boys, knock it off. Boys, quit it. You see? The boys, the sons of God, are killing each other. And the mother comes in and says, grow up. Sit down, I'll spank you. That's why men like to be spanked. So, connecting the dots is a lot of fun because it's enlightening. It gives insight. For me, it brings energy. My son was just here for a while. That's why I'm late today. And he's a great movie fan. And my wife saw Wonder Woman. And they were sitting around talking about it. But they were talking about it as a movie. So they were talking about the history, the comic book history, and they were talking about the actresses and the techniques of the movie, and they were talking about the just the techniques and the movie as a movie. But I talk about the movie as mythology, and I found that my insights really didn't fit, and they really weren't interested in the peeling back the skin. You see, when I when I have a martini here, I have a lemon twist, and I cut the skin back. Well, the most in culture is all lemon peel. Culture is the surface. Culture that we live in, the visible culture of what we know, is all the peeling. No, we don't go to the juice. We don't cut the peeling away and look underneath. We're kind of like afraid to do that. So culture is a entrainment, so that we're focused on the appearances that culture gives us. And then we talk about that. It's like having a martini, and culture is the glass, culture is chalice, and it serves you the content. So you talk about the content in culture. And you can argue about the different types of gin, or whether or not to have, how much vermouth to get, a little bit or a lot, what kind of gin, whether you have olives and what the best olives are. In other words, you can spend a lot of time talking about the content, but you don't speak any time talking about the culture that holds it, the delivery system. So the glass is the delivery system of the culture. But when we're in culture, swimming in it, all we talk about is the contents. We can't see the glass. We can't see the delivery system. Just like cigarette ads. So cigarette ads are a delivery system for nicotine. But all we see is the pleasure the cigarette's going to give us. If you watch Mad Men, you could remember they had a lot to do with cigarette advertising. And so culture is a delivery system that focuses our attention on what it's delivering. But we don't see the deliverer. We don't see the Marshall McLuhan's famous statement was, the medium is the message. Now we think in culture that the message is what we're getting. The food, not what the cook wants to give you. So cigarettes, we're delivering nicotine. TV is an advertising delivery system. TV is not there to deliver entertainment. It delivers entertainment so you watch the real purpose of TV, which is advertisement. TV is an advertising delivering system that is the servant of corporate industry, which makes the stuff that you sell to the consumer through advertising. It's the entertainment that we watch in order to eat the delivery system, which is the advertising, which is subliminal. Advertising goes beneath the surface. Advertising delivers a message beneath the orange, beneath the peel. Advertising is the juice. The message of advertising is the juice, but it focuses our attention on the peel, you see. So the delivery system is the message. Culture is a delivery system. So it's up to our advantage to understand what we're being delivered, what we're being served. So what we're being served is a reality that's divided against itself. Culture serves a view of reality that conditions us to see, actually perceive, reality as being hostile to us. That you can't trust the world, just like Santa Claus. Before Santa Claus, the child trusted. Then Santa Claus comes and the child trusts the world as being its friend. Oh, the world, Santa Claus is the world and Santa Claus will give me what I want. And then we find out Santa Claus is fake. I remember when I asked my mother, I guess I was 6, well, I remember with tears, some kids had told me, is it true that Santa Claus is not real? You know? Yeah, welcome to the real world, kid. This is your circumcision into reality. Get your innocence cut off, snap. So, the world has lost its innocence. So Wonder Woman, the female principle, is also our lost innocence. What was so great about the movie was that she was such an innocent, yet a strong innocent. I mean, it wasn't like she was a weak, passive innocent, you know, a naive, wasn't naive. But she was an innocent, like Huckleberry Finn. The Mark Twain's book is an innocent, or Innocents Abroad. The idea of the innocent going into the world and looking around, say, well, what in the hell is going on in culture? Why do you do that? Well, that's interesting. Well, that's really curious. You know, it's kind of like, wow. You know, kind of like an alien. You just don't, you know, you just don't jibber jabber like everybody else about the content because you see the delivery system. So when you become aware of cultural's influence and its conditioning, which is the spiritual path, mindfulness, the practice of mindfulness and meditation, is a practice of deconstructing cultural conditioning. That's what it is. But you have to deconstruct it in your head, not out there. Most people try to deconstruct it or change it out there, but they're just changing the alphabet soup around. We've got a bowl that's culture and it's got alphabet soup and it spells everything. So we just keep trying to spell it differently. So we're still just changing the soup. We don't even touch the bowl. That's the delivery system. So the whole practice of meditation, mindfulness, whatever you do, is a spiritual endeavor, and that's not a religious endeavor, but a wakening up endeavor is to wake up to the conditioning of culture that has created our sense of self that is separate from my own experience. So when I judge myself and doubt myself, I'm split into two. And that's created by culture. Culture creates a split in my mind where I'm conflicted. And if I'm conflicted and I can't choose and I'm caught in ambiguity and I don't know what to do, who do I call? I call culture. I call some authority in culture. Some religion, some teacher, some psychologist, some therapist, somebody. Because I can't do anything. I'm a mess. You see? So culture creates, it's our dependency upon culture by creating a division in ourselves. And that's what Trump does. I mean, he becomes the decider when he creates confusion and nobody can decide, then he gets to decide. And they say, please, Trump, decide for us. We can't. But then he created the division in the first place. It's kind of like the vacuum cleaner salesman who throws some soot on your floor that your vacuum cleaner won't clean up. So please let me buy that vacuum cleaner. Okay, I'll let you have it. See, so you have to look. You have to look at the delivery system. And this is not easy because we're swimming in it. We're swimming in culture. You can't see it when you swim in it. All we see is what culture delivers. So it takes a while. It takes an intention of the heart. It takes, they say, the wisdom, how do you, if you want God, how do you get to see God? Well, the disciple asked the master, what do I have to do to get enlightened or to get deculturized? And so he sticks his head under the water, and then after a while he pulls it up, I get breath, and says, all right, what did you want most of all when you were down there? Air. Well, that's how much you have to want enlightenment or truth. You have to want it like that. You have to be single-minded. You have to be unambiguous. Knock and it you shall receive. It's all in the Bible. If you have a single intention, you'll succeed. That whole idea of the unambiguous will or intention. All the athletes that succeed, everybody who succeeds in the great adventure, all have a single intention. It's not divided. If your intention is divided, particularly if you're divided against yourself, one hand is going to be taking and the other hand is going to be pushing away. You're going to be caught in this. This is the shadow of Carl Jung. Whatever you do on the surface, the shadow takes away at night. This is the carnivorous isle in Life of Pi. What it takes during the day, what it gives during the day, it takes away at night. This is a description of Maya, of culture. Whatever culture gives you during the day, it takes away at night. Oh, I just got all the bills paid. I'm finally at balance. Oh, crap, the washing machine just broke. Just when you think you have balance, you don't, you see. Just when you think you have the promised land, just when you think you've retired and you've got it all, you have a heart attack. Just when you get the house paid for, it burns down. What culture gives during the day, it takes away at night. This is not to say that culture is burning your house down. I'm just using that as a metaphor for the teeter-totter or the swing in culture. See, culture is like the roller coaster ride. You go work and work and work to get up to the top, and then then you go down. You get hyper and you get depressed. Up and down, up and down. The wave of culture, you see. Because culture divides. As soon as my bell rang. So we'll pick this up in the morning. Connect the dots. Begin to look at culture as a delivery system. Put on a wide-angle view. Read the Bhagavad Gita and go up at the overlook with Arjuna and Krishna and look at the battlefield of culture, the civil war and the division of culture, the culture eating its own tail, the division of the whole into two left and right parts fighting themselves to restore the whole. We're all fighting to restore unity by dividing. It's like we got to get to peace through violence. Any means to the end. I have to kill in order to get to peace. The double bind of Korea. Well, we have to show strength and a willingness to destroy them in order to avoid a war. We have to show strength and a willingness to totally destroy them in order to restore peace. That's insane. So, thanks for dropping in.